So EITHOS, like Antoni said, focuses on countering online identity theft. And I would like to start by explaining the motivation a bit. So what is online identity theft? What is identity theft? So identity, at first, is various elements that show to the world who we are, our name, our roles, relations, in a job, in a family, of course, social security numbers and other information that we're using to interact with with a state or with banks or institutions, other official documents like, of course, passports and so on. So if any or all of the above are controlled by someone else, posing as the victims and without the victim's consent, then we have a case of identity theft. And we have very many examples, from the very simple ones, like phone scams, like someone is calling you and telling you, I'm your accountant, or I'm even your relative and I need some help, please send me some money, and so on. And of course, we have also the examples of actually stolen documents, like the physical passport or identity is stolen and used by someone else. And even other stuff like stealing or copying credit card and so on. And it can range from the very, very simple, like a simple scam or fraud, to the very elaborate, like this case that I'm highlighting here from Russia a couple of years ago, where a woman was trying to murder and assume the whole identity of another woman who looked a bit like her, but she had a lot of money. And she was trying to assume her identity in both the real world and online. Now, of course, in 2024 and for the past couple of decades, more and more of our everyday life is moving online. So, of course, we are using social media more and more. We are using email every day for personal and professional communications, web banking. We are sharing documents, we are sharing calendars, we are having our communications online like we're doing right now. We are consuming our news online, our entertainment, games and videos and movies, and even education online. So, of course, all of these platforms are also have a part of our online identity. So this can cause what we're calling online identity theft, when people are getting hold of the victim's online identity in one or more of these platforms. And of course, online identity can have much more impact and a wider range than just stealing a physical passport, because in the internet, everything is connected, and it only takes a couple of minutes for someone to get hold of your money or of your contacts or of your personal information, if they can manage to get into your social media or other accounts and so on. And of course, they can use that then to propagate to your other contacts, to your other platforms and so on. So it is much more widespread and much more impactful than regular old-fashioned physical identity theft. We have various examples, like hacking social media or emails, or cloning social media or emails, which is a slightly different thing. So hacking means that they've got your actual passwords and they're using it. But cloning is that they are creating a new account or a new email, but it looks very similar to your account. It has the same photos, almost the same username, and then they're contacting your contacts and say, sorry, I lost my previous account, please follow this one. And many people are going to fall for it. Then, of course, we have media-based identity theft, and with the new advances in artificial intelligence, this is much more believable, because now you can have deepfakes, both video and audio, and they are getting much better every year, to the point that you can have real-time live deepfakes, and you can have very elaborate offline deepfakes, and many of those, especially if you put if the criminal puts a little bit more effort in this, can be very realistic, and people are going to fall for it. People have fallen for it, like CEO scams. We had a couple of cases recently that People are going into Zoom meetings and they think they're talking with their colleagues or their CEO, and the CEO says, okay, you can please transfer $10 million to that client, and then the accountant does, but the money goes to somewhere else because that's not the real client, that was not the real CEO, that was just a deep fake. Even if it's live, right? And even if it's someone that the person actually knows, they can still get fooled. And so on. And of course, we can have a wide range of motivations, from the simple ones like hiding our own identity, the criminal's own identity, just so they don't care about yours, they just want to hide their own, to more elaborate, of course, getting access to money, but also blackmail, defamation, character exploitation, especially when we're talking about celebrities or politicians, revenge, including revenge porn and revenge deepfake porn, and of course the spread of fake news. And this can have like consequences on the personal level, of course, because the victim has psychological consequences. They feel bad, they feel violated. They have social consequences because their friends and colleagues don't know if they can trust them anymore. It erodes trust in the internet and in online life in general, but also professional because of financial scams, of course, and losing money. Political, in the case of defamation, and in the case of fake news. There was even a very high-profile case a couple of years ago when the war in Ukraine started, that there was a deepfake of President Zelensky, and he was appearing to be telling the Ukrainian army to surrender. Of course, it was a deepfake, but we can just imagine how wide-reaching effects on a political scale this can have, including in the US elections. There was a very recent case with a Taylor Swift deepfake appearing to endorse Donald Trump for president. So it has consequences on a massive scale. Now, EITHOS in particular aims to tackle online identity theft and has built an observatory. This is an online portal with two faces. One face is just for the citizens. It's free to visit, and it includes information, articles, a lot of interactive content, including quizzes and games and stuff like this, and links that are useful for the citizens, like where can I report identity theft if it has happened to me. And the other part of the portal is restricted access. It is only for law enforcement officers. You need a username and password to get in, and it includes some technological tools that EITHOS has developed to aid the police officers into detecting the more high technology forms of identity theft, like video and audio deepfakes, also to detect botnets in social media, and an innovative tool to summarize and extract information from forums in the deep and dark web where criminals might be discussing all of these things, and this can give the officers some inkling of what to expect in the next couple of months, perhaps. And of course, beyond the observatory, which is our online presence, we are also doing a lot of face-to-face engagement. We are doing discussions. We are discussing also victim support with victims. Almost anybody can be a victim. It's not like a specific category that's just the victims of identity theft. Everybody has been, to some extent, or knows someone that has been a victim, even in a very small scale, like losing your Instagram credentials or something like that. We're also doing demos to different kinds of citizens. We are working with schools, with university students, with professional bodies, especially banking and law professionals that are most affected by it. Of course, with law enforcement officers, because it is also their job to try to detect this, because identity theft can be a crime by itself, but it can also be an enabler in a very wide range of crimes. And I think this is also where we can be synergized with CESAGRAM a lot, because it can also be an enabler for exploitation, child exploitation in particular, because someone can appear to be a child even if they're not, using deepfakes, or they can use deepfake children's videos and so on. And of course, for the general public, whenever we have this opportunity, like a wider exhibition or something like that. So this was Ethos in a nutshell. Thank you so much for your attention, and I would love to give the floor to Teresa to tell us about her own project now. Teresa, you are muted.
Hear me?
Yes.
I'm very conscious of we don't have a huge amount of time. Thank you very much. That was very interesting, and of course it's very much it builds on the work of CESAGRAM. I'm going to go very quickly to your project, terminating on the 9th and the 10th of December. It's a hybrid conference. Everybody is invited, of course. Better to come offline as opposed to online, but that's because I think there is a very interesting agenda lined up. We're also going to showcase a lot of our sister project AI tools, including your own, EITHOS. Anthony just needs to confirm, but it's going to be quite interesting for us to include inserts from our CESAGRAM consortium to showcase their AI tool and to just demonstrate all work. I will try to be very quick. In terms of CESAGRAM, it's an enormous project, a 2-year project with 11 consortium partners, but I will only speak specifically about FPK and CERT. I see that CERT are online. If you want to jump in after I've presented FPK, please feel free. I'm at a conference in Athens, so I'm working from my phone. So I'm sure, so my apologies, I can't share a PowerPoint. So if I can just talk you through, and of course we can share information by email to any of the attendees of this webinar afterwards. So basically, one of our consortium partners, FPK, they set up what we call CESAGRAM Veal, strategy against grooming and missing. They released CESAGRAM Veal, which was an online gamified educational app in April 2024. It's available in the 4 project languages, Greek, Italian, English, and Lithuanian. But basically, the purpose of the CESAGRAM Veal is to promote educational activities aimed at preventing grooming and child sexual abuse. And what we did was FPK, they incorporated the gamification elements to sustain high engagement and high motivation. So what they did was they split CESAGRAM Veal into. So I'm going to talk you through it very rapidly. So they split it into districts working quite closely with CESI, who developed the online, the educational and curriculum, as well as MCE. But it was split into 4 districts: self-awareness, prevent and respond, Alley, and Unity Square. And the purpose of splitting the CESAGRAM Veal app into districts was to identify dangers, to assist the minors or whoever is using this app, because it was originally targeted for between the 11 to 14 age group, but in actual fact it can be used by all age groups from 11 upwards, and of course caregivers. And so we're focusing on assisting minors in identifying dangers, creating self-awareness, a lot of individual activities covering content, personal boundaries and communication skills, of course, prevention and respond, how to prevent online grooming, how to respond to it. Again, a lot of work, a lot of emphasis was put on the individual activities, addressing behavioral warnings, and of course, online communication. Used a lot of case studies from the CESAGRAM project, lots of activities created by children. A lot of the content was developed it originated with survivor interviews. That's part of the CESAGRAM project as well, but we also got information chat logs, and the actual CESAGRAM gamification network, it's built on, they developed avatars, and the avatars were basically their minors are going to be, it works in a system. So they have what they call group wisdom, they have what they call my cyber credits, but it was very much it's a tactile app. It's easily to use, it's multifunctional and it's very interesting from the caregivers, frontline professionals, and of course within the educational system. Voni, I see you're online. Would you like to present the AI tool, or would you like me to give a very, very quick introduction?
No, it's okay, Teresa. If I may, I can share also my screen. I don't know if you can see my screen right now.
I can't, but
Okay.
I'm working from a phone. Oh, yes. Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Just in a nutshell, as Teresa mentioned, one of, let's say, the outcomes of the CESAGRAM project that will be also presented in our final conference is the AI-based solution that we managed to develop and will be provided and it has been already piloted with our end users, the Hellenic Police, and the main focus of which is to concentrate on the textual content that comes from the web and social media platforms through specific monitoring of the crawlers that we have developed, especially for Twitch and YouTube, which were the two social media platforms that were of high interest of our end user, in order to identify potential indications of grooming. As you better know than me, due to the fact that we are working on a public domain, it is very, very, let's say, difficult to find specific instances of grooming, as all the grooming and the child sexual exploitation that occurs are usually occurring in the private domain. But through our linguistic analysis of the textual content that we identify, including name entity recognition, sentiment analysis, emotion analysis, and authorship analysis, we're trying, let's say, to find these specific instances, and by addressing the outcomes from the NERD sentiment analysis and emotion analysis, we try to evaluate the risk and deliver specific early warnings to our LEAs in order to see which specific, let's say, actors, which specific users could be of moderate or high risk of engaging themselves in grooming behaviors. I will jump through, let's say, the whole presentation very, very briefly because we don't have a lot of time. Here, you could see some information regarding the web and social media monitoring through our crawlers, which have been, let's say, utilizing specific entry points such as URLs or specific keywords that the LEAs could provide to the system in order to start the crawling. And all of these, let's say, outcomes, they are processed through our 5, let's say, tools of linguistic analysis. NERD sentiment, that it has 3, let's say, stages: positive, neutral, or negative sentiment analysis, emotion analysis of the 6 sentiments, that they are state-of-the-art analysis of the sentiments regarding happy, surprise, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust. The authorship analysis, which identifies if a user that has different usernames in various, let's say, social media, could be identified as the one that writes is behind specific, let's say, posts, and of course, a taxonomy classification. All these, as I mentioned, are, let's say, interpreted in a general risk assessment, and we have a specific, let's say, instances of risks such as low, no risk at all, low, moderate, and high, and these are provided as warnings to our LEAs. All this is encapsulated in a specific dashboard, namely the CESAGRAM dashboard, which offers a range of capabilities, including data gathering and triggered by the monitoring tools. And it is integrated in a user-friendly and interactive domain with visuals such as timelines, bar charts, etc., in order to provide the LEAs with a more intuitive, let's say, domain, and make them have specific, let's say, reports that could utilize afterwards in their operational capabilities and their, let's say, reports and the relevant, let's say, daily operations. So that is in a nutshell our, let's say, solution. We will demonstrate, as Teresa mentioned, in the final conference, this solution in Brussels, and you're more than welcome to, let's say, visit and let's say, discuss with you all the outcomes of the project. So I don't know if you have any questions. I'm trying to stop sharing my screen right now.
Maybe, I don't know, among the audience, I can see some people with their organization name. I don't know if you have. I mean, were you interested in CESAGRAM and EITHOS webinar? If in your organizations you have to deal with such issues, I don't know, Gianluca or someone else. I mean, I'm not forcing anyone if you don't want to talk, but just curious to exchange about your interests and.
Yes, hello. Sorry, can you hear me?
Hello. Yes.
Yes, hi, I'm Louise from Goose AI from the Netherlands. We are
Oh yeah.
yeah. So I was drawn into your platform, and also thank you for organizing this amazing, interesting webinar. Yeah, I'm very intrigued by the information that you are showing, and also I find very special that it is publicly available for a lot of people, and I think around cybersecurity and also identity theft, we need to work closely together as technical integrators, technical providers, but also by creating more awareness. So I wondered like how a startup from Delft, the Netherlands, can maybe help you within this journey and mission. And whom to talk with, maybe as well, if this meeting is not the right place to discuss this.
Well, I was the one answering you this morning in LinkedIn. Maybe we can follow privately, but it's true for EITHOS and I guess EU funded projects in general, is to find, when you raise awareness, the most relays you can, and some synergies can be, I don't know, co-participation to webinars, or even I don't know, co-written articles. Try to gather the efforts. No, I don't know if
yes, exactly.
or Kostis want to add some things, because we usually don't cooperate that often with industry or startups.
Yeah, why I'm asking this is because we have a technology that works, but we would like to test it in different types of domains and industries. So right now we are really focusing with the KYC within banking, but my personal mission and vision is also to really deploy our solution towards deepfake fraud within developing porn. Because right now a lot of cyberbullying is also created from this development of deepfake porn. And if we would like to work together with the police in the Netherlands, for example, they are very closed off. And I think organizations such as this and consortia such as this can really help in already leveraging the technology and to see if it fits the needs of our end user or not, and can use also as solutions. No, Teresa, is it clear what I'm
yes,
is
no,
that correct?
No, absolutely. You're making very interesting points. I'm looking at the time, and I think maybe I would strongly encourage you to attend our final conference in Brussels. You're not too far away. There will be a lot of offline demonstrations of the AI tools from many EC-funded sister projects, not just CESAGRAM and EITHOS, but we have several other projects who will be attending as well. I think what's really, really important, I totally agree with you that we should develop task forces, workshops, discussion forums, whatever one should call them, to moving forward, because there are a lot of issues like what you've mentioned, becoming more and more prevalent on a daily basis, sadly. So we'd be very, very happy to maybe set up a Teams over the next couple of weeks, get as many actors involved in this discussion.
Great.
I'm always I would be a strong proponent of involving Pornhub and involving a lot of tech in these
Yep.
discussions. I think that they have to be part of these discussions. So that is one of my mouthpieces of the moment. I say that everywhere I go, in every single webinar, at every single conference, because at some point we actually do have to move forward and set up a concrete task force and just work towards a solution, because there's a lot happening to minors, a lot happening to the young people online, and we need to protect them. So a lot of the projects would be of interest to you. I would strongly recommend that you try and get to Brussels on the 9th and the 10th if you can.
I will.
And
if that's also possible, I would like to reach out to you as well, if that's possible, via LinkedIn to think this through.
Absolutely.
I can follow with you, Luis, on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
And put Teresa in the loop.
You can set up a web, Voni as well, I think, and Gianluca, should be involved in discussions, because FBK, they have developed the online gamified platform, so they have their finger on the pulse in terms of how to make this happen. We can generate discussions and ideas, but of course they are the CERS and FBK have been the brains behind our tech outputs and deliverables from the CESAGRAM project. So I certainly would endorse discussion, certainly. Absolutely.
Lovely.
Anthony,
I'm
over
really
to you
thrilled.
in terms of organizing that. Yeah, pleasure. Very much on the same page. Yeah.
So we'll coordinate on that. Maybe one last question or remark from audience, and otherwise we can close. It's already almost 50. And if not, anyway, I will follow with an email with some resources about EITHOS, about CESAGRAM, with the recording, with key information, and we'll let you know about the next lunch webinar. Again, it's a test. We will try maybe with more specific topics for the next ones. Today was the general presentation. And thanks, Kostis. Thanks, Teresa. Thanks, Theoni. And
thank you, Anthony.
Talk to you all later then. Bye-bye. Have a good,
very,
good afternoon.
very intense. But
thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very nice meeting you.
Informative. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.